I've done an interview and I have a scorecard and I have some data. All of these things are points in time, but none of these things are blended together in any way in current processes. And we firmly believe that the best way to improve commercial output through accurate hiring of the right candidates, to improve inclusivity and reduce bias, is to really understand how all of these things fit together in this holistic overview of what a candidate's actually like. I'm just going to use an example here. So we started working with Accenture about 9 months ago, started in the UK, and we wanted to run a test to prove to them that using more data and using more context, you can significantly reduce the bias in the recruitment process and you can significantly improve the commercial impact through automation. So we took a kind of A/B process. We ran the candidates that were applying to Accenture through our process. We also ran it through a kind of legacy system. Taleo is the applicant tracking system they use. We started by putting the 26,000 applications through our system and had a 65% cutoff for moving them onto the kind of legacy Taleo. And the results were great. What we showed was that we did 26,000 applicants in 3 months. Not only was the kind of primary filter able to achieve 90% time reductions in that process, because in their old legacy process, they used to review all of the applicants pretty manually. They would spend, on average, 15 seconds screening a resume, which is not really very much when you're considering how much effort someone's probably put into the application process. With the Headstart process, they were able to fill those positions with 1,900 reviews versus the 11,000 they did before. Not only was the process that we ran them through something that allowed us to collect a lot more data. We collected psychographic data on personality, values, motivations, as well as resume data and contextual information on social background. And despite that, we still had a 91% completion rate. But more importantly than any of those other things, we were able to reduce evaluative bias to 0. The way we know that is because the likelihood of success using our percentage match scores for, let's say, a male versus a female, or someone who's black versus white, was 0 change between the two, versus in their existing process, there was a significant adverse impact, mainly based on the fact that people were manually reviewing resumes, of which they had so many that they had to whittle the things down in some way. And equally on interviews, we saw a significant issue there. So I think the key thing to note here is it's not just commercial impact here. Reducing bias is just fairness in the process, and it's something you can do using data. If you can understand the whole picture of what a candidate's like and what they're likely to be able to do in the role, you can really, really achieve a lot, and that's really something that I would really overemphasize here. So I'm just going to kind of end on a tiny bit about 2018 so far for us. We graduated from Y Combinator Summer 17 in end of the summer last year. My co-founder and I were lucky enough to get into Forbes 30 Under 30 for social impact this year. And we've expanded into the US recently with Accenture expanding us off the back of those results into Asia and the US. So yeah, if anyone wants to kind of talk a bit further and kind of dive deeper into how the technology works, I'd love to chat to you later. Thanks.